Hey, good evening. How are you? Welcome to Volunteer 2.0, Moving Forward. My name is David Charchalis. I'm currently the COO for Epilepsy South Central Ontario. What we'd like to do tonight is talk to you about volunteering, and specifically with our agency and just what it means to be a volunteer. We, about 12, no, about 10, 5 years ago, we started a motto for our volunteers. And our motto is basically that volunteers are the heart and soul of our agency. And it is because of the dedicated commitment to volunteerism and fundraising initiatives that we all succeed to grow within our local communities. And there is nothing more important than helping out your community, helping out families, helping out clients, just helping out by volunteering. So what I'd like to do tonight is just talk to you quickly about volunteerism and why it's important to our charity. Now, we all have busy lives, understandably, especially in today, but it can be hard to find time to volunteer. I've heard that so many times. I don't have the time. I wish I could. But there are so many benefits of volunteering that those benefits are enormous. Volunteering offers vital help to people in need. And while doing so, you support a worthwhile cause, you support the community, but I'll tell you, the benefits are even greater for the volunteer. The right match can help you find friends, connect with the community, can even help you learn new skills, and in some cases, even help to advance a career. Giving to others can also help literally protect your mental and physical health. Proven fact. It's just giving you something outside of your normal, everyday routine, and it gives you a bit of a break. It's true that the more you volunteer, the more benefits you'll experience. And I'll tell you, from personal experience, volunteering doesn't have to involve a long-term commitment or take a huge amount of time out of your already busy day. Giving in the most simplest of ways can help those in need and improve your health and happiness. I started in 2010. Sorry, I started in 2012. 2010, I went back to school full time. Did my SSW, and I also at night at the same time, I got my volunteer management certificate. I've always volunteered for years. It's been one of my mantras. It's been one of our family things that we've done. And I'll tell you, it's the best thing I've ever done, either by myself or with the family. So we've grown when I first started, the volunteer base was pretty small, but we had volunteers. And throughout over the years, from 2012 till currently, I've gotten over seasonally about 200 and some odd volunteers who come and volunteer with us on a seasonal basis on various bases, various events, various fundraising events, various awareness events. So what I'd like to do tonight is introduce you to two of my volunteers, Caroline Pearl and Shania Acha. Ladies, are you around? There we are.
Hi.
Caroline, Shania, welcome.
Hello.
Let me tell you that Caroline, she's volunteered for us she'll talk about herself, but she's done awareness events, fundraising events, and she's worked our family and youth conference as a volunteer. Shania, big volunteer for our gift wrap section, our gift wrap fundraising event. It's a massive volunteer fundraising event that we do. And she's also volunteers with our family and youth conference. So ladies, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So I've got a couple of questions before we start getting into the nitty gritty. So my first question to you both is, how long have you been volunteering with Epilepsy South Central Ontario? Carolyn?
I've personally been volunteering, I think it has to be at least maybe 10 years, give or take. I keep coming back for more, so obviously I have a good time doing it.
As for me, I started a little over 7 years ago. It'll be 8 years in December.
Cool. Now, how did you both get involved with us?
I got involved. I had a family member who attended camp, Sunny Days camp. And then through that, I got involved by doing, the walks. And then I started volunteering at festivals. And then that led into the gala and different events that ESCO held. And then, I just kept going to different events and volunteering.
Cool.
As for me, I got involved. I believe I came across an ad on Volunteer NBC for gift wrapping with ESCO. And then that's just basically how I got involved. And then it just grew from there.
Cool. Yeah, I remember your first year you ever came to us with the gift wrap. I know you're grade 9, I think it was when you came in. Yeah, it was absolutely. We had such a blast. Here's a question that I may throw you with, but I'm going to ask it. What was your most, or what is your most impactful or fulfilling experience that you have had as a volunteer?
I have a long list, I think.
Go for it.
Okay, so one for me would be when I volunteered at the Purple Gala. I helped hand out the Send a Kid to Camp teddy bears that were auctioned off.
Right.
And handing those to the people who bought it, you just feel like you have this voice in the back of your head, like you're helping send a kid to camp. And because I have been directly impacted by epilepsy, like to me, I just felt like it was a way for me to say thank you. Like, thanks for buying this. Like, I know how much this bear is gonna help a kid and send them to camp and have a summer like any other kid would.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, it's really important because the the gala, that whole thing about buying the teddy bear to help support a kid. I mean, it really does help defer the cost for a parent to send their kids to camp. So it's really good. Shania, what about you?
Okay, so for me, I don't know because I feel like I've had just so many amazing experiences. But for me, not only has the hours and hours of gift wrapping and supervising and customer service skills and working with kids and different staff members shaped me to be the person that I am today, but it has also been just all of the knowledge that I have gained through Epilepsy South Central Ontario. I mean, when I started, I had no idea what epilepsy was, yet alone what Seizures were either. And I think that the most fulfilling aspect would be just how much knowledge I have gained and how I have been able to transfer my knowledge and spread awareness to my family and friends. I feel like in comparison to Caroline, we both started because of completely different reasons. She started because she did have a family member with epilepsy, whereas I have absolutely no connection to epilepsy or ESCO in any way. Like for example, during the year, I work as a community advisor and I live with hundreds of first year students, and all the CAs were kind of given a board, and I have this whole section dedicated to what ESCO is and what we do, and just various stats and FAQs about epilepsy itself. And just I feel like with all that I have been through with this organization, ESCO just has been a huge part. It has become a huge part of my life. And it's just an organization that I can proudly identify myself with.
That's great, Shania. I mean, I remember you. I mean, a lot of the kids come in, especially with the gift wrapping, when they come in to volunteer, they're coming in to get their 40 hours and leave. And once they book their time in for 40 hours, that's it, they're gone. But Shania, I remember you, what blew me away is that I'm looking at your hours and they're like about 80, 90 per season. Like that's from December 1st to the 24th. And you figure you got school and weekends and you're pumping in 80, 90 hours. And that's yearly. I think one year you broke the 100 mark. So that's absolutely amazing. That's what I love about my volunteers is I like to have fun with my volunteers. And my thing is, if you aren't having fun, then why are you here? That's one of my personal mottos for that. And I keep instilling that into all my volunteers. You got to have fun. You've got to enjoy what you're doing. The last question for you guys is, for you ladies, what is it that keeps you coming back to volunteer?
For me, it's honestly the way I feel after I volunteer. Like I come home and I can't stop talking about the experience I had for whatever I was doing, whether it was gift wrap, volunteering at the Family and Youth Conference, festivals, Busker Fest. Like I come home and I have so many different stories to tell, whether they're stories about people I've talked to at the festivals or just meeting new people, meeting new volunteers, just through volunteering with ESCO. Like you get so much out of it, and that's why I keep coming back for more.
It's cool. Shania?
So this is a question a lot of people ask me. They're like, okay, so like you finished your 40 hours in grade 9, you're not getting paid to the hours. You aren't even in high school anymore. So why do you keep coming back? And I think that especially over the years, I've just become so passionate about this organization and the purpose of this organization. I just want to help in any way that I can to further their goals, to further our goals. For me, I think that not only does ESCO give their volunteers a lot of opportunities, not only all of that, but I think that ESCO gives volunteers like me a lot of opportunities to grow within the organization. I mean, I started as just a gift wrapper, and then I went up to a supervisor, and and then I became a staff member with Sunny Days Camp. And now this summer, I'll be working to actually revamp the entire gift wrap. So it's kind of like a full circle for me. And I think one more reason is just that sense of security that I have. So for example, David spends hours and hours during December working with gift wrap. And then during the last few days, it's kind of his day off to spend with his family and friends. But even then, when I'm there, and I ask a lot of questions, whether it's different bows or different paper or different types of papers. But if I know that I'm going to call David, I know that he's going to be there. I can text him and he'll reply within a minute. So it's just that having that kind of sense of security, and just seeing how dedicated all the staff members are, it motivates me even more.
Supporting my volunteers is major. It's major. And I know, like, from what you just talked about, there's a couple of times where, a phone calls come up where, the cash register's jammed, David, I don't know what to do. And, for me, it's a 20-minute ride to get from my house back up to Shoppers Row, Brampton. And so it's like, okay, hang loose. I'll just do cash transactions. I'll be up there in a minute. And I'll fly up on a Saturday, on my day off, on the evening. It's important that volunteers are supported at the agency, from the agency. It's, for me and for all of us working at ESCO, it's extremely important. And I know Shania, and I keep telling all of them, don't, like my supervisor up there when they're volunteering, don't hesitate to call me. If you have a problem, call me, man. I mean, I got to support you. I'm not going to leave you. I can't leave you hanging. All right. Any last words before we delve into the discussions? Ladies, anything?
No, ready for more information on volunteering.
All right. So today I want to touch on a couple of important subjects when it comes to volunteering. And it's basically about the benefits of volunteering. And there are literally 4 areas that'll help you make you feel healthier, happier when it comes to volunteering. First one is about volunteering connecting you to other people. The second benefit is volunteering is good for the mind and body. The third one, as Shania touched on, volunteering can help your career, which we'll talk a bit about more. And then volunteering brings fun and fulfillment to your life. What I'm going to close with afterwards, after we have that discussion on those 3 areas, is a thing. It's an old thing that's been around for a long time, but it's called virtual volunteering. And I'm going to talk about how the virtual volunteering thing actually, especially in today's world, can work for us. And we're working to implement some more virtual volunteering for people. Okay, so I'm going to start off with how it connects you to others. So basically, volunteering is one of the more well-known benefits is the impact on the community. Obviously, it allows you to connect to your community and make it a better place. And you may think, oh yeah, that really, how it does it really? And it actually does. I've had various schools with the gift wrappings. I mean, I'll use that because that's the big one for volunteers. They come from different schools. They've made friends. They've met each other on their shift. It really has made a huge connection. Helping it with the smallest of tasks make a real difference to those living, to the lives of the people who are in need. And volunteering is a two-way street. It can benefit you and your family as much as the cause you choose to help, which means it helps you, it helps us. It's a two-way street. We work together. Dedicating your time as a volunteer helps to make new friends, expand your network, and it literally does help boost your social skills. When you're volunteering, you got a group of people volunteering. I've seen people who are the wallflower, like they stay back, they kick back a little bit. And then by the time things warm up, they're just chatting a mile away and they're best buddies and they're all going out for a movie and the following weekend because they've all met and made friends. How does this reflect with both of you about making new friends and contacts? What does that impact for you? What does that mean for you?
Well, for one, I think what you just said perfectly describes Shania and I. Because growing up, I've grown up in the same neighborhood. I went to high school in this neighborhood. I go to college in this neighborhood. So if it wasn't for volunteering with ESCO, I wouldn't have met Shania, and I wouldn't have had the relationship we do now. We text outside of volunteering events, and I text her if I need help on something or if I need advice on things. So I feel like I met a whole new friend that I wouldn't have if I didn't volunteer with ESCO.
Just kind of saying what Caroline said, the exact same thing. I would have never met Caroline or her sister Heather if it wasn't because of ESCO or if it wasn't because of volunteering. Not only that, but I think that when we first started, it's kind of scary when you first start volunteering because everyone's different. Like everyone comes from a different background, people come from different schools, but it's volunteering. It's that one thing that just connects us all.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, Carolyn and Shania, is as questions come in between, I'm just gonna interject with what we're talking about and get to the question so the person asking the question can give their answer instead of, get their answer right away. So a question coming in was, what were each of your first reactions when first seeing a seizure during a volunteering experience? And what advice do you have to help someone who is nervous about volunteering because of seizures or seeing a seizure? And I'll ring in on that one after you ladies do too. So go for it.
Yeah.
Shania, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So for me, so we had training before Sunny Days camp, and I was like, okay, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm taking notes. I know exactly what to do. And then we also saw videos. So I was like, okay, this is preparing me. And then when I actually saw one, I had no idea what to do, and I was so thankful that Caroline, Heather, Alex, half of the staff members have epilepsy, and then so at the same time they knew how to react. But then the other the other supervisors that were also there, they already knew. They knew what to do basically. So I was really thankful for them. But in that situation, I think it's just with experience. Like it's not something you can learn on the spot. It's something that you learn over time. But I remember the first time I saw one, I was like, oh my God, like what do I do? And I was just so thankful to have Caroline and Heather and Molly and just everyone there present.
Yeah, so I grew up seeing seizures on firsthand. So for me, seeing it volunteering, it wasn't as shocking to me, but it's the people around you. So you don't feel as nervous when you have people there that have experienced it before. I mean, ESCO does a great job at providing the training before you go out and volunteer, so you know what to do. But like Shania said, I don't think it's till you actually go and volunteer and actually see the seizure firsthand until you get really comfortable with it. So I think volunteering is taking the first step to actually get that experience.
Okay, so let me just go through everything else now from our agency's perspective. So yes, we do provide seizure first aid training if that is necessary. We will talk to you about what epilepsy is, and we will explain the whole thing. If you're going into work with or volunteer with people who do have seizures, we'll give you seizure first aid training. It's very quick. It's not complicated. And I'll tell you, the first time I saw a seizure when I was working for the agency, it kind of startled me a little bit, and I kind of froze a little bit. There was enough people around. There's always people around who know what they're doing. You are rarely by yourself with somebody who has epilepsy. When you're volunteering, there's a massing, and after it's like once you go through your first seizure, after that, you pick it up real fast. It's not as terrifying as you may think. Depending on the type of seizure somebody's going through, you may have to try and protect them from hurting themselves. So there's so many different types of seizures. We go through the gambit with everybody. We don't expect you to remember it all or have it memorized by the time you volunteer, but it's just giving you a basic, and there's usually about 101 questions asked about seizures and what do I do and how do I do, and are you sure this is okay, and are you sure that's okay? I've had to pop rescue meds into somebody because they've had their seizure, and if they're not coming out of it within, and ahead of time, if they're not coming out of it within 5 minutes, even at the camp or when I do the volunteering, when I've had people who come in and intern with me who have epilepsy from the colleges and universities, there's a protocol that they have. If I'm in a seizure and I'm not out in 3 minutes, pop the rescue meds in, and they're right there. We know exactly where they are. We know how to do it, and it's fine. It's the first time you witness a seizure, if you've never witnessed a seizure before, it's always scary, and I will not say it's not. It is. and then you become climatized and you begin to understand what it is and what it means to have a seizure. So it's we're very good at what we do. My volunteers, my existing volunteers, like Carolyn, Shania, Molly, Alex, the whole and Heather, there's a whole bunch of them. They know what to do. So like when Shania came in and saw her first seizure, she's not alone with our volunteers. She's got other people around her who know exactly what to do. And sometimes if you're unsure, it's a matter of your job maybe to keep people away from the person having a seizure. Give them space. So you'll tell people to back off, give them room, stay away. Okay. How do I sign up and what is coming up? We are working, I've just brought Shania in for the summer. She'll be reworking the entire volunteer program, rewriting it this summer. Because of COVID, there's not a lot happening right now. At this moment, we're going back into the offices at the beginning of July, now that we've gotten to stage 2, and we're going to be working on some programs. I've got some ideas up in my mind, which I'll talk about, which can fall into the virtual volunteering base. And as soon as we get that up, it'll be all on our website. I'm going to have Trevor, who runs our website. He'll be posting all kinds of stuff up there that we're going to be needing done. So just keep an eye on our website, and notices will come up. Or you can email, and I think I don't know if Trevor can put it up or not. Trevor's my producer today, and if he can't put it up, it's basically volunteer@epilepsysco.org. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the one. I haven't used that one in a while, but anyway, but Trevor will put it up for you. And there he goes. Trevor's putting it up. All right. Thanks, Trev. Okay. So moving along onto the next bit. Connecting you to other people, connecting you to others. How has volunteering increased your social and relationship skills? Have you learned? What has it taught you? Both socially and in relation. When I talk about relationship, I don't mean boyfriend, girlfriend. I mean relationship as in relationship to other people. Carolyn?
I think it really teaches you how to build a relationship with different personalities, because like you're not going to have the same personality in every volunteer you're with. So I think you really learn how you can adapt and like work with everyone in a way. Socially, like you're talking to so many people at like the awareness events or the fundraisers or like festivals. Like you have to approach people and try to educate them on epilepsy. So it really helps you and gives you that push to go and actually talk to someone, where like on your regular day you might not go up to someone and say hi, or someone passing on the street. Like I never used to say hi, and now I just feel like I should, because I just have a better social skill.
Oh, it does work. It does happen.
That's for sure.
Shania, social skill?
Yeah, so I think for me, I think one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to volunteer was because I wanted to build on my social skills. I was very awkward at first. And I think that through gift wrapping, when you're kind of gift wrapping, obviously your friends aren't able to join you all the time. So you're kind of forced to talk to everyone else around you. Yep. And that's how I met a lot of new friends. Like I made friends from people all over Brampton. And then the first year you meet them, and the second year, as soon as we get the link from David, we're kind of sending it to each other to see who gets the link first. And everyone's trying to fill up the spots and everyone's trying to volunteer together. And I think that the most amazing part of all of that is that we don't see each other at all during the year, but during gift wrapping, we make sure that we're all there together at all times.
Yeah, there's a funny story. When I first gift wrapped in Brampton, Shania was the supervisor there, and it was like it wasn't like busy at all. There was no one coming in. Like it was, so she's like, "Oh, do you want to play cards?" And at first I was like looking at her like, no, like I'm just gonna sweep because I don't think we should be playing cards. But then once I realized like there's nothing going on, we're just standing here until someone comes, like I'm gonna go join in with this group of people and play cards, and that's because Shania asked me. So everyone you meet is usually very nice, and you just fit in with everyone.
Yeah, and then we also make sure that during gift wrapping, there's always more than one supervisor. There's at least 2 to 4 supervisors there at all times. So there's usually 2 people in the front, and then if it's not busy at all, then we do allow the students and the volunteers to just kind of interact and have a good time.
Yeah, for students, especially the early part of December, It's tough. I mean, there's not a lot of people, depending on the location. Okay, so it's really dependent on the location. But that's where the interaction happens. That's where the kids get to know each other because it's quiet. Usually the first week of December when we start, it's a quiet week. People aren't geared up yet. So that's where a lot of things come up. And I usually send them off away. Like if I've got like 8 kids volunteering, I'll send the 4 of them, okay, go off to the side somewhere and just like chat, some of them will bring their homework because they come right from school. The kids are so dedicated. They come right from school. All right, go to the corner. I'll call you if I need you, right? And they'll disappear around the corner. They'll do their stuff. Half of us will stay there. I mean, because it's really hard to debate. But I mean, again, it's all about building. What about as far as like relationship skills? Any comment on that one? No comment?
I think
The relationship, like with other siblings. Has it improved your relationship with family, with siblings?
For me, I know like my family comes out a lot and volunteers when we go to volunteering events together. And for us, like it's a time where we're actually bonding and doing something together. Because a lot of the time at home, like we all have our own lives, we all have our own jobs, our own work. So actually having that spot to come and be in one group and have the same goal, it's like made us closer in a way.
I agree with Caroline. So when I started gift wrapping, it was just me. And then I got my brother involved. And then I believe 3 years later, my cousin got involved. And now finally, 7 years later, my sister's here and my cousin's here. So for me, it's something for my entire family to get involved in, like all my siblings to get involved in. And my younger sister, she's actually really excited to start in 2 years, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, David, you're always going to have volunteers from my family.
It's a family affair. I keep telling you, man. It does work. All right. Okay, so let's look at, so Carolyn, you've talked about, and Sean, you've both talked about, the next thing I was going to mention about volunteering as a family. And I know, Carolyn, your family volunteers collectively together. Shania, you and your siblings have volunteered on occasion together. You both come in, and you guys come in sometimes separate here and there. But the great thing is that it brings a family together instead of like, how can I put it? Instead of one person from a family volunteering and then you've got nobody at home to talk to about, you've got nobody to share your experience. Oh yeah, I had a great day today. And if they don't get what you're doing or the agency that you're working for or the event you're working on, it's just like, yeah, okay, that's nice. And I can tell you, because that's what my parents used to do. All right, so if I was on an event that they never helped on, it's just like, yeah, that's kind of nice. So what else happened? Okay, cool. But when we volunteered together, we've got, on the same type of event, maybe different days, but we'd be able to go home over dinner and going, oh, wow, you should have seen what happened today. Really, that kind of same thing happened last night, yesterday. Oh yeah, I had this, this one person came back. Oh my God, yeah, they brought us a dozen donuts. Oh, and by the way, our volunteers, customers bring them donuts like crazy. So I mean, and that's the relationship that we've built. So we're building it not only with your own personal your own immediate family, the volunteers and some of the clients, we have repeat, like with the gift wrapping. I'm using that because that's a big one for volunteers. And we've been doing it at Brampton for 8 years, since 2012. So it'll be 9 years next year. And we have so many repeat customers that they come in and they're going, hey Dave, how's it going? Oh, how many kids are on tonight? Oh, I got about 12. Okay, here's 2 dozen donuts for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really good that way. So again, that family attitude doesn't just necessarily go with the volunteers, it expands into everybody as a family unit working the shift or working the event. And then in some cases, it supersedes and goes out even further where we all become a family with my client. They know us, they know my kids. I've had people come back going, no, I don't want you wrapping it. I want this person wrapping it. They've got their favorites. Just like some parents have their favorites over the kids. But anyway, yeah, so it's so important. I've got somebody asking about, are we still doing the run or the walk? How can I get my 20 hours in? Can I get more? There's a walk in Mississauga. The new date is in September. Yes, it's in September. We want to do it. We do need volunteers for that. And that is one way. So with the Mississauga run, we used to do the Toronto Waterfront Marathon, the ST, the Scotiabank Toronto Waterfront Marathon. Problem is for a lot of our clients, getting up and being down there for 6:30 in the morning. Mornings aren't good for people with epilepsy. point blank. It's not usually a good time for them. They need their X amount of sleep. So we moved over to the Mississauga Marathon. It's in our backyard, so to speak, and we're supporting Mississauga. We're supporting this area. So yes, you can get your 20 hours in. There is a minimum of to raise, and the reason why we give the hours for raising a minimum amount of money for that, I believe, I can't remember if it's either 200 or 300. It's on our website. But you've got to go out. You're actually going out into the community. You're actually asking for you're asking. Trevor's putting it up for you right now. So you're asking people for donations. You're actually canvassing. You're going into the community. You're creating an awareness. See how this all ties in? Okay. So you meet the goal that we've set, and you will get a letter for 20 hours. That's the cap max that we are allowed to do. 20 hours. So if you raise $1,000, still 20 hours, okay? The more you raise, the better it is. I mean, it comes out in the wash at the end because we're able to attend and create new events. The more money we raise and create more opportunities for volunteers. Okay. Yeah. So that's basically what that is. One of the bigger events. That's one of our big late spring, early summer events that we've got for volunteers coming up right now. Okay. I can move on to that one. So the benefit number 2 about volunteering is that it's good for your mind and body. Okay. It provides a lot of benefits in both mental and physical health. Okay. So volunteering. So ladies, talk to me about it. Volunteering counteracts the effects of stress, anger, and anxiety. I'm sure I know you guys have, especially in December, Shania and Carolyn, you've been helping out too. In June, when we do the golf tournaments, you've got exams usually coming up. Is there a stress release when you're coming in to do the volunteering type thing at that point in time?
A big one. Like I always mark it down on my calendar and like I highlight it to make it known like I'm volunteering at this time, because having to study so long, it just like I get distracted, I can't focus, and I'm not remembering things. But if I know I have that outlet coming up in like however many days, it's like something I work towards. And then when I'm actually there, I'm not thinking about school. I'm just enjoying myself with all the people there, with whatever I'm doing, gift wrapping, the walk. Yeah, the RBC Open, it's always busy, and you're always guaranteed to have a laugh and support ESCO all together.
Shania, anything?
Yeah, so for me, the past few years, unfortunately, I've been living in Hamilton because of university, but I make sure that as soon as I finish, so if I finish exams on Thursday, you bet you will see me volunteering the next day on Friday. I don't care how tired I am, I will be there because I feel like at the end of the day, it just helps me relieve stress. And I also see a lot of familiar faces that I have been seeing for the past couple of years. But yeah, so as Caroline said, and then same with the golfing tournament. I think that the last year golf tournament was when I got very close with Caroline and Heather. Just everything that we went through, all the chicken fingers and all the customers.
That's right. Okay, cool. So it is a stress relief. I agree. It's all about the social contact aspect that really helps relieve, your stress. You maybe have a bad day, at work, or you're coming out of work angry for whatever reason because something didn't go right. You're going out to volunteer, but now you're actually volunteering for something that's completely not what got you angry or stressed you out or caused you anxiety. And now you're actually working with something that let's face it, if you're volunteering because you enjoy what you're doing, or you enjoy the event that you're volunteering with. So it kind of like releases, like my stress release, what I used to do was volunteering, but it was also cooking. I would go in and I start cooking, and I would cook up a storm. And the same thing with volunteering. I find the same way. If I've got an event to go and work up, it's just so relaxing. Even though it may be a stressful event, running around getting things together, it's a different type of stress. It's a different type of anxiety. There's no anger. The anger gets flushed away. So it's really, really good on the whole person. I'm going to skip a couple here. Volunteer makes you happy. True fact, Study says measuring hormones and brain activity, researchers have discovered that being helpful to others delivers immense pleasure. Human beings are hardwired to give to others. The more we give, the happier we feel. Ladies, how happy are you?
So happy.
Very happy. I think I have a story to share actually, right at
Go
the
for it.
end of wrapping. So on the 24th, we close up, we all come home. So this December actually, as soon as we got home, myself and all my cousins and my sisters were all just so bummed out. We're like, oh, like, what are we going to do for the rest of December break? So we didn't have wrapping paper, but we had tissue paper. So we grabbed our phones, we grabbed tissue paper, and we had tape, and we kind of had a competition to see who would wrap the phone the nicest. And we did that for the first to, like, we did that for a good 2 days. But it just shows how happy we were during that entire experience, and we just can't wait to be back.
Caroline?
Yeah, my experience would be at the family and youth conference. For me, it was volunteering a whole weekend, but it was a whole weekend spending it with people who are also happy because they're away. I'm spending with other people who volunteer. It's like your time you're giving, but it's for a good cause. And like for me, I was running the kids programming, and you could just see on their faces like how happy they were to be doing all this, like the high ropes, the horseback riding. So for me, when you see the kids who are impacted by it directly, enjoying it, like you can't help but feel happy.
I couldn't agree more, Caroline. Talking about the family and youth conference that we do. I mean, I've seen, some of the kids come out of some of the areas, like whether it's horseback riding or if it's like the high ropes or if they're doing the archery. They come out of there and they are just wired for sound. And I mean, like, yeah, I work for the agency, but when I'm there on the weekend for the family conference, I'm actually volunteering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get paid to do it there. I get paid Monday to Friday. I volunteer. My volunteering is giving back to my agency. I volunteer Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. So I work all day Friday. I finish at whatever time, and I'm volunteering that weekend. Mm-hmm. And to see you like the kids, I see it on the parents' face. I see when the kids come running up to mom and dad and they are just beaming. And as a volunteer, you get those warm, fuzzy feelings. Yeah. It transcends that it's just not a matter of always work. There's so many different things that we do, aspects that we do. Whether in the same thing when we do our awareness events, I've got away for the weekends to do awareness events. Again, I volunteer. And I hear the parents coming up and, they talk about their child or their mother or their aunt or somebody who has epilepsy. And they talk about a success story with some of them sometimes. It's the first time, one of my kids or my wife or my husband, whoever, hasn't had a seizure in over a month. And they are just beaming, smile. And you're sitting there doing an awareness event. And it just makes you, as a volunteer, you just kind of feel, I don't know, proud of yourself, proud of the people you're talking to. You make that connection, right? Again, which ties right into about, being a volunteer increases your self-confidence. And, it's the old saying, when you're doing good for others and in the community, it provides you a natural sense of accomplishment, okay? You feel good about yourself. Your role as a volunteer can also give you a sense of pride and identity. And the better you feel about yourself, the more likely you are to have a positive view of your own life and of your future goals. And it's so true that the happier we are, the better we feel. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if you guys want to comment on that one or not. I mean, like, you guys are always been like happy, but you find in some cases, or not in all cases, because I can't say it happens every time, but have you experience an increase in self-confidence with some of the areas that you volunteered in?
You want to go, Shania? I have for sure.
I mean, yeah, for me, I'm just kind of thinking of an example, but I agree that it does make me really happy.
Okay, that's good.
I think for me, so I feel like for the past 2 years, for example, I've been working with several staff members with epilepsy, and a lot of our kids are also living with epilepsy. And now, whenever I do anything related to this organization, all I can think of is them at the back of my mind. And they're just always there. And I think that that's knowing that what I'm volunteering towards is going to help them. It just makes me feel even happier.
Cool. Carolyn?
Yeah, for the self-confidence, I mean, for me, like I take that into my schooling. So I'm in child and youth care. And like when we're talking about things in class, like I have more confidence to actually speak up and like share my experiences just because I volunteered and I gained that knowledge that no one else can take away from me to say. So it gave me like the confidence to actually, this is like what I experienced and relate it back to like my future and my career that will hopefully come up.
I got a couple of questions here. Have you met anyone famous volunteering?
Oh,
Now,
I get.
yeah, I was gonna say now famous is it depends on what you term famous, but Shania?
I wouldn't say maybe famous, but I would say someone that's definitely like a political figure, someone that's quite well known. This year even last year, but this year I personally got to volunteer with Patrick Brown. He came down and he wrapped a gift with us and we all got pictures. So I think that was a very cool experience as well because he was able to share that on his social media, which is followed by several people. So I think that was fun.
Mayor of Brampton.
Yeah. Last summer at the RBC Open, I didn't say anything to him, but Connor McDavid came up to our booth and was like asking if we had something specific. And I think we're all sold out, but I was just standing there looking like, I know who you are, but I'm not going to say anything. And then I just like looked at like my sister was there and like I think Trevor was there and I was just like, you guys know who that is, right?
Yeah, one of our big events that we started last year was the Culinary Showdown. So, and of course, you know, we all the staff, we volunteer on that night. So if I've met anybody famous, yes, I've met Chef Claudio Aprile, I've met Chef Massimo Capra, I've met Mary Berg, I've met Chef Alvin Lung from MasterChef Canada, I met Chef Michael Smith, I've met Angie Seth from CTV News, Mark McAllister from City TV News. They're all around. I've met, his name's Darren Osborne from CHFI. CHFI 98.1. So yes, we have met some celebs when we were volunteering, which is all kind of cool. And I'll tell you, they are the nicest people. They are really, really super nice. What makes a great volunteer? And for David, what makes these two amazing volunteers, the amazing volunteers that they are? All right, so what makes a great volunteer from my perspective, this is my perspective on a great volunteer, is somebody who wants to be there. If it's a student coming in to do the hours, the difference between wanting your 40 hours and leaving, or I've had students come in, I need 5 more hours, they do their shift for 5 hours and I never see them again. Okay, it's a student. Adults, I've got students like Shania and Caroline, but Shania, like I said before, fell in love with the agency and continued. So a great volunteer is somebody who's dedicated, who just wants to be there, wants to help, wants to make a difference. That's the key, is a volunteer who wants to make a difference. I'm not looking for, some volunteers come in for what we term self-care because they need something to do, and that's fine. If they need something to do, something to change their daily routine, come and volunteer. It's the want to be there as opposed to the need to be there. Okay, so when I say need, I have to be here because I need X amount of hours and then I'm done. I want to be there because I have fun volunteering. You don't have to, that's what it's about. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. It is very important to me that my volunteers have fun when they're volunteering. I will laugh, I will joke with them. I've talked to kids about, where are you going to university? Have you thought about where you're going to university? What courses are you taking? What are you looking to be when you grow up? And when I mean the word grow up, I mean become my age, like an adult. So yeah, that's what makes a good volunteer. And these two, Caroline and Shania, let me tell you, I've got a lot of great volunteers. Don't get me wrong. I've got a lot of great volunteers, but specifically with these two, I can ask for anything last minute. And Shania, like she said, she finishes university. Her last exam's on a Thursday. She's home Thursday night. And if she gets home early, she shows up for gift wrapping. I know I'm not on those lists, David, but I figured you could use an extra pair of hands. Or she's there the next day when she's back from university. If she comes in on the weekend, she's there volunteering, okay, with the gift wrap, because that was her forte. Carolyn, the same thing. I can call Carolyn, and I have done for both of them. I need something very quickly. I need a spot for them. Can you stay an extra 4-hour shift? And Carolyn's usually response is, yeah, no problem. I've talked to Shania, who's doing a Saturday 9 till 3 or 9 to 4. Shania, my supervisor in the afternoon called in sick. Can you stay the whole day? Yeah, okay. I just got to call my parents, let them know I'm not coming home for dinner, but I'll stay 9 to 9. No questions asked. That's why these two are here. They show the dedication, they show the commitment, they just love doing what they do. And their personalities reflect on the new people coming in, they are so much of a powerhouse when it comes to mentoring new volunteers. So yeah, they're very good. And like I said, I've got others. They're not just the only two volunteers I've got. I've got a few. Heather's really good. Alex is really good. I've got a bunch of, a few of them that are really good. Ricky was really good too. But these two, they're just really impactful in what they do. Have I embarrassed you enough yet?
Flattered.
You make us tear up, David.
Okay. Hang on, I got a bunch of questions. So I'm going to do the questions here. Will the Culinary Showdown need help? Don't know that answer yet. It's still in the process of being worked on. But again, if you're interested in volunteering, please send me an email to volunteer@epilepsysco.org, and we'll put you on the volunteer list so that when we need volunteers, I'll send you out the package, I'll send you out the application, fill it in, we put it on file, and off we go, okay? I've always wanted to gift wrap. The photos look great and it looks like each of you is so much fun. When do you post the infos? I don't know how to gift wrap. Will you teach me? Shania, yeah, of course we do, yes. Okay, with the gift wrap, I usually start in October. I usually post it up in October once I talk to the different malls. I've got Square One. Square One's it was a new mall for me, Square One. I've got Shoppers World Brampton, and I've got Conestoga Mall. So we've gift wrapped at 3 malls. Conestoga Mall's in Kitchener-Cambridge, okay, area. Square One, Mississauga, Shoppers World Brampton, of course, Brampton. So if you're interested in that stuff, again, watch out for the emails, watch out for the notices going out. And if not, send me a specific email and with the subject line, volunteer for gift wrap, or just volunteer in general. And then we'll be working things out. Like I said, like once we get back into the office in 2 weeks, then we'll start working. And Shania is going to be actually remolding and the entire volunteer program for me. Okay. Yes, there is ways you can volunteer from home. I'm working on some new things where you can actually work from home as a volunteer. So just give me some time. That new virtual volunteering, which I'll talk about, will be starting probably in September. Okay. Ladies, okay, so the last question I had here is, I have limited mobility. Can I still volunteer? The answer to that is a great big yes. Absolutely. I don't think, there's always something for somebody to do in some way, shape, or form. If somebody has a limited mobility, depending on what the limited mobility is, if it's due to a disability, you've got lack of transportation, time constraints, chronic health conditions, we'll figure out if you want to volunteer. And it may not be a lot of coming up, but if there's something that comes up, you're first on the list. To do the virtual stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that we can eventually will be doing where I may send out electronically. I need you to proofread all of this stuff. I need you to proof this stuff for me, this document for me. Can you proof the document? Because 3 sets of eyes are better than 1. So there is all kinds of stuff like that coming up. And there are going to be some other things coming up, especially with people who are fluent in other languages other than English. There will be some major volunteers. So if you're fluent in French, if you're fluent in Punjabi, if you're fluent in German, Italian, Spanish, Ukrainian, Polish, all the languages spoken within the big languages spoken within our region, because we're going to be doing some documentation and some translation of some of our documents. Google Translate doesn't exactly get the point across to the best of my abilities or the best of their abilities, because I've had people test it out and they look at the two things and going, yeah, not even close. So I'll be looking for some translators to go from English to a language that is served in our area. Okay, that would be part of the virtual volunteering. Let's see. The third one is helping your career. Okay. So aside from when I say help your career, it doesn't mean I'm going to give you a career out of it. It's going to enhance. Okay. It may help get you experience in the area of your interest and meet people in the field. You never know who you're going to meet when you get into a group of volunteers. You never know who you will meet. Volunteering gives you a great opportunity to practice what they call important social skills, which are used in the workplace, such as teamwork. When you're volunteering, you're literally working as a team. Okay, communication, problem solving, project planning, task management, organization skills. The big ones are teamwork, communication, and problem solving. When things come up and you've got to think quick on your feet, best place to learn it is a volunteer as opposed to a paid position where it makes a big difference to a job when you're volunteering. It makes a big difference, but it's a great time to practice and learn those skills. Ladies, anything on that one?
I know for me personally, like deciding what I wanted to do after high school was the biggest struggle I think I've ever gone through. It wasn't until I volunteered at the March break camp that I really figured out that I wanted to work with kids in some way, shape, or form. So if it wasn't for that volunteering opening and position, then I don't think I would have come to that decision like I did. And now I'm so happy I did.
Shania?
I agree with Carolyn, exactly what she said. I had no idea what I wanted to do before. I knew that I wanted to do something in healthcare, but now I'm 100% sure that I want to work with kids. But in what way, I'm still trying to figure that out.
You never wanted to work with kids.
No, I didn't.
Oh, that's the kicker. That's when she told me that last year, I got goosebumps. And that's that feel good moment when you see your volunteer saying, yeah, I never wanted to work with kids, but after working with the kids, it just opened my eyes to a whole new world. Whether Shania goes through with actually becoming, in the healthcare profession, working, whether she's a doctor or she becomes a neurologist or whatever she wants to become in the healthcare world, it's the fact that she's got some sort of, we've helped her get focus on kids. Whether it pans out or not, it's anybody's guess. But the fact that she's got some direction as to working somewhere in healthcare, don't know where, don't know how, but the focus is now there. The other thing about teaching job skills is depending on what you're doing with us, we will teach you seizure first aid, which again, when you're volunteering, the seizure first aid can apply to you even in your daily job. You may know, but you may not know if anybody in your actual daytime job has epilepsy. And if they do go into a seizure, guess what? And you're volunteering with us, you know how to work it, you know how to help them out, you know what to do. You will learn all about epilepsy. Trust me, because I know even with my gift wrap kids, I teach them about epilepsy. And I do give them some first aid, some basic first aid, seizure first aid training, so that in case I've got anybody who does have a seizure, the kids know what to do. At least they have a concept of what to do. And my supervisors all know what to do. So there's always a supervisor on board, but they all know how to deal with stuff and how to work with that and what to do, what not to do. Like, don't ever put anything in their mouth. Yeah, okay. The last thing I want to talk about, one of the last things is a benefit is volunteering brings you fun and fulfillment to your life. So basically, it helps. Volunteering you can explore your interests and your passions. Like Shania showed, like she knew what her interest was, but then she found a passion. It can be relaxing. It's an energizing escape from your day-to-day routine of work, your school, or your family commitments. It also provides you with renewed creativity, motivation, vision that can carry you into your personal life and into your professional life. Many people volunteer in order to make time for hobbies outside of work as well. So you can actually do both. People think if I'm volunteering, I've got to commit. I don't know where they get, I've got to commit so much time over the month or over the week, over the day. No, no. Volunteering is your time. Okay. And if you're volunteering at an awareness event or at an event, yes, there are scheduled time zones to deal with it. But if you sign up, like if I'm doing an awareness event, like in Mississauga, let's say if you do like, it's not happening this year, but when we used to do the Busker Fest in Port Credit, I may have a shift from 11 to 3. If you can only do that 11 to 3 shift in one day, that's your shift. That to me is like gold. Having somebody there for the 4 hours is gold. We would never at our agency, we don't turn around going, well, I need more, I need more. We take what you can give. We all know we have busy lives outside, especially if you're a parent with kids. Kids are doing all kinds of things. They belong into all kinds of sports, into other activities. So for the parent to volunteer, they may be able to volunteer because their kid is playing soccer somewhere, or their child is at dance for 4 hours and they can come in for 2 hours or 3 hours. We'll take it. It's all about building. So that's what it basically. How much fun, Caroline, Shania, how much fun have you had volunteering? And let's start talking about the stories that you guys have been holding back on. Go for the fun stuff that you've experienced volunteering.
Oh man. So one was last year. It was at the RBC Open, and between like the different the golf players walking through, you always get the biggest lines at the booth. And for some reason, like I turned around and I was on cash, and the runner behind me like left, and I don't know where my runner went. And Shania's already running for someone else getting the food. So I was standing there yelling, Shania, I need 10 chicken nugget trays. And she's already trying to get hamburgers and French fries and drinks, all the other people at another cash register. But I just kept yelling at her, I need 10 chicken nuggets. And then she'd give me one, and I'd say, I still need 10 because someone else just ordered one. So it was like a good 10 minutes of yelling different numbers of chicken nugget trays we needed. And it's one of our favorite memories now.
Shania?
That's my favorite memory too. Chicken fingers.
But we've all had fun. We all have fun doing this stuff. I've got one last question here. I have seizures. Will that be an issue to volunteer? Okay. So I'm going to turn that question over to Caroline and Shania, who are volunteers. Is it a problem if you have a seizure? If you have seizures, is it a problem to volunteer for epilepsy, South Central Ontario?
Not at all.
No, not at all. I encourage it, actually. I encourage you to volunteer. I take college and university students as interns if they have epilepsy, because we know how to work with them. If they're having seizures, we're not afraid of it. We know how to work with you. If you're a volunteer who has epilepsy and you have seizures, come on in. Mm-hmm. Like, it makes no difference to us. It shouldn't. This is what we do. This is who we are. We are epilepsy in South Central Ontario. So absolutely. Yeah. If you have epilepsy, if you have seizures, I encourage you to come out and volunteer. Okay. So I'm going to actually wrap this up because we've been going almost an hour. I got 3 minutes roughly. So just very quickly, virtual volunteering, okay? A lot of that has changed over the years, okay? Nonprofits, we've adapted to the virtual world. Right now, a lot of employees are now working from home. It's easy to set the virtual. We're going to work on doing the same thing as doing virtual volunteering. It allows you to commit your time and service away from a physical site of an organization, project, or campaign. You work over the internet via your computer, your tablet, a phone, whatever it is. So we're working on some things to actually start looking at working at that. Whether it's updating lists for me, let's say the MPs list or the MPPs list, which can be done at home. So there's all kinds of stuff, okay, that's coming up. So we are looking at working on that one. Let's see. They want me to wrap up because I'm pushing the hour. I got 2 minutes. Final words, Carolyn. Final words, Shania. No, but I've got a couple of final words.
I've been volunteering for 10 years and I keep coming back for more. So if you haven't yet, or if you've only volunteered a little bit with Epilepsy South Central, then I encourage you to come out and do more and do the different events too, or the virtual volunteering that's coming out. Like there's always something to do, and you're going to get so many other benefits just by volunteering.
Shania?
I agree. And I think just kind of talking about gift wrapping, if you don't know how to gift wrap, that's okay. When I first started gift wrapping, I had no idea what to do. David was really kind to kind of show me exactly what to do. And even then I wasn't good. It was just, it's with practice. But I encourage you to look at all the different events that we have and please volunteer.
Yeah. Apparently I've got one of my volunteers is watching the show tonight, Sarah. Hey, Sarah. And she says volunteering gives her a strong sense of community. That's that's key. Getting that strong sense of community, which is what we see. We all seem to have not so much lost it, but it's fading away slowly. And by volunteering, it's bringing it back to life again. It's bringing your community back to life. So I'm going to say au revoir. It's 8 o'clock. Final thought or final comment is our next webinar coming up. This is important. Women in Epilepsy. It's being hosted by our CEO, Cynthia Milburn. It's called Conversations with Tejal Patel. I've heard Tejal talk at our conference on women in epilepsy. This is a do not miss. If you know anybody, any daughter, aunt, grandmother, mother, any woman who has epilepsy, families, you need to watch this. She is absolutely brilliant. I had people coming out in tears after her last thing because she was so passionate about the discussion. So please tune in. It is July 14th at 3 p.m. All right. It's again, it's women in epilepsy with Tejal Patel, hosted by Cynthia Milburn. July 14th, 3 p.m. Don't miss it. It's going to be brilliant. All right. Shania, Caroline, thank you very much. I appreciate all that you've done, being very candid, opening up, and being openly honest and telling. So thank you much, and we will see you at the next little shindig. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. All my volunteers, love you all. Let's just keep this going. Peace out.